Hey all, this is Raj here, and today is the 24th of February 2022. And today's video is going to be as follows. First, I'm going to talk to you about the macroeconomics. Then we'll have a very brief review of what the Ukraine conflict is doing to our stock markets. And then we'll go on to look at the Nasdaq and the VXN. And then we'll do the technical analysis on our stocks. So this is the overall approach that I have for the video today. Let's get started. The US economy expanded an annualized 7% on quarter in Q4 2021, which is slightly higher than the 6.9 as per the market forecasts. The number of Americans filing for new claims for unemployment benefits decreased by 17,000 and ended up at 332,000 in the first week ended February 19th. This is from a revised estimate of 248,000 in the previous period and compared with the market expectation of 235,000 for the current period. So if you compare 232,000 to 235,000, we can say that the preliminary unemployment benefit claimants were slightly lower than what was expected or estimated. So that's slightly better for the economy, not great, but much better than otherwise. So last evening, we also got the US API crude oil stock update, and it showed that United States was able to increase its stock significantly more than expected. The expectation was 0.767 million barrel increase, whereas the stock rose by 5.983 million barrels, despite a drawdown of 1.076 million barrels in the previous week. So overall, it's looking pretty good from a reserve of crude oil point of view, because oil prices are going up and the US can probably open the taps out here to control the inflation a little bit. So in that manner, it's a bit positive. Another news item we have is the earnings of Intellia. Intellia reported below market expectations for earnings per share. However, its share price still kept surging. It's almost up 10% at the time of this recording. And I don't know why that has happened, but we'll take it. It's good. Intellia Therapeutics reported Q4 net loss Thursday of 1.09 per diluted share, widening from 0.069 a year earlier. As I said in my previous earnings reviews also, for CRISPR companies which do not have revenue, we should expect increasing losses until monetization takes place. So I would give that to Intellia. So analysts polled expected a loss of 0.96 per share. So from that point of view, we are up by 10 cents of loss. We have a loss of 10 cents more than the street expectation. So that's not good. Collaboration revenue for the quarter ended December 31 was 12.9 million, up from 6.6 million a year ago. Analysts were expecting 8 million in collaboration revenue. So this collaboration revenue beat has resulted in the cash equivalents being higher. The cash equivalents are at 1.09 billion at the end of December, as compared to 597 million a year ago. So these two factors account for the jump in Intellia stock price, because the valuation will go up when these denominators change. So that's what I think happened with the market. The market lost track of the cash position of the company, and a high cash position almost double, and an increased collaboration revenue shows great confidence in the industry with regard to the capability of Intellia, and that encourages the shareholder to give a much better premium. So that's what has happened in the market today. So if I look at the market, since yesterday I have been watching the market, and only oil and metals are going up. For example, let us look at our heat map. So those of you who want to have a look at this heat map, it's a live heat map. You go to finviz.com and you would be able to have a look at this heat map. It is free for anybody to have a look. And let us just navigate through this. So if you look at the entire map, it's a sea of red. We just have a little bit of green in Adobe, which was really beaten up, Oracle, and then if you look at healthcare, you have a slight, if you look at software application, you have a slight positive in Salesforce, Intuit, and a few other shares. But overall, it is red. However, compared to how red it was when I saw in the morning, I think the markets are improving because we see a lot of green patches. In the morning, it was totally red. And let us also look at some groupings, and let us look at crypto. So let's look at the crypto market. Bitcoin is up against US dollar. Ethereum is also up. So that's a good sign. There is some signs of life in crypto. Ripple is also doing a bit better marginally. So overall, this looks good. So if we look at gold where it is, and it has gone up today by another $15.82. And this is the overall map of gold, which I keep on bringing up before, because there is a great chance that gold may touch 2,400 to 2,500 because of this cup and handle pattern. And if you see this last candle, the green candle, this is the candle for this month. And this is February. And we have less days in this month than the other months. So with regard to that, and if you look at the volumes also, they are pretty healthy. So gold is definitely on the move. It's moving upwards, supported by all the exponential moving averages. So something great is happening in the gold sector. So I'm pretty happy about it. Now let us look at our indices. So if we look at VXN, and as usual, I'm going to look at the 1 year time frame because that's what I'm comfortable with. And you can see that we have broken out of this bullish pennant, and we have gone out, and we already touched a peak of 40.08 earlier in the day, and we have come down now, and we are at 37.30. And our MACD is absolutely bullish, and there is plenty of way for the RSI to become overbought. So all signs are pointing towards a really tough day for Nasdaq. And of course, that will be a tough day for genomic stocks as well. So if we go to Nasdaq, and if we look at the overall picture of Nasdaq, you can see that we have come to the next support level that we had of 12594.54. So we are negotiating that right now. And I am afraid that looking at the way the MACD is and the momentum is, we may break down below this also today. That's most likely to happen. And I will probably have to draw a few more support lines out here. And let me see where I can find the support. So this could be the next minor level of support at 224.25. That could be the next minor support level. So that's what I have with regard to Nasdaq. So if we were to go and look at some of the bigger stocks, let us look at Apple, for example. So if we look at Apple, the amount of the drop that we have is significant, and Apple is more than fairly valued in my opinion at this point of time. It has dropped from 182.15 to at the peak of the drop at 152.76. Right now it's at 155.41. So this is definitely a steal, and it has also fallen below the green channel that you see here, which has been supporting Apple for a long time on this bearish upward channel. So Apple is definitely something that I would like to buy. But if you look at the MACD, again, it is at the very rock bottom. Momentum is also at the very rock bottom. You would always expect a bounce back to happen from here. And if you go to the last 5 years, you see there is still a little bit of space for the MACD to come down. So there could be some more drop, and probably will be supported by the EMA, which is the 50-day EMA, this green line out here. So this is probably going to support Apple. And if we come down to a much more closer time frame, then we have this green line out here, 147.71, which is again going to be a support. We already blown past this diagonal line, which was supporting the bullish channel for the longest time, as I mentioned earlier. So is there a case to be made to buy Apple? Yes, I would like to. In fact, I bought yesterday and it has fallen further. So I'm holding on to the rest of my cash, and I'm going to wait for this falling to be complete. So in light of what is happening to Apple, I'm definitely thrilled that Intellia has gone up today, but I don't know if it can maintain the bounce for the rest of the day. It's more likely to fall down. So if there's any profit to be made, I would definitely collect it, in my opinion. Let's go to look at Google. These are all bellwethers, and you can estimate what's happening with the market by looking at these, because they move the Nasdaq They also move the S&P 500. So if you look at the support we have here, which happens to be at 249, 2.84, it is still holding. The color should be green here because it's a support, so I don't know why it's red. So it is still holding for us. The MACD is bearish. The momentum is totally out. And if you go to a shorter term time frame, like a 3-month time frame, you can see that we are still just very close to the support out here, and the indices indicators are not looking great. So there could be further drop in Google. Yes, I bought a little bit of Google yesterday. It's fallen down further, so I'm going to hold back and wait. Look at Microsoft, which is again a solid company with solid earnings. It's at a rock bottom, and the MACD is absolutely at the bottom. Momentum is absolutely weak. It's kind of slightly picking up right now, but you see the drop that is phenomenal. So it dropped yesterday significantly, and it has gone up. It dropped today significantly, and it has gone up again, and it has recovered most of the drop it had. That's why you can see the same thing reflected in the crypto side. Crypto is also picked up, but there are other stocks in the index, in the Nasdaq, which have not picked up adequately. Let us look at FNGU. This is again another good indicator. So FNGU consists of all the FANG stocks. At the peak, FNGU would have been around $32 or something. It's now down to 17. So again, it's fallen below the last support that we had here. I'm going to change that into a resistance. And it was a resistance. It was support at 18.38, and we had fallen way below that and bounced back today. So that again shows you how much the market has dropped. The MACD is again bearish. The momentum is way below the RSI, is absolutely oversold. So there should be a bounce back, which is what we are experiencing here. But I'm not sure if we'll be able to go above the resistance of 18.38 today. So in light of all this, Intellia still is doing great. Now let's look at Tesla, another indicator out there. Yesterday I bought a little bit of Tesla. Again, it has dropped down almost 0.1%. It went down significantly, and it has bounced back again today. So this is a good positive for us. But again, it's still just about coming out of the negatives. We have broken down through all these resistances, so I marked them as support. The latest support is 764. That's where we are at this point of time. We're just slightly above it, and I'm confident that we'll stay above that for today, but I'm not sure if we can break the resistance of 799.49 today for Tesla. Now, without further ado, let us go on to the biotech sector. So just to summarize, I'm going to double down on buying more of these mainstream behemoths, which are the bellwethers like Tesla, Apple, Microsoft, probably Oracle and Salesforce, CRM. These are all doing very well. Google is also doing very well. Overall, in terms of their valuation, they are in a much better valuation now than they were in the frothy multiples before. Especially Google and Apple and Microsoft are absolutely attractive. So I'll be doubling down on them. And then I would hope to take the profits from them, which will happen early in my estimation, so that I can still catch the rising CRISPR stocks and invest in them and get the next bounce from there. So that's my overall strategy. So I'm doubling down on that. Later on today, I'm going to show you my actual portfolio. I've consolidated it, removed all the personal information from there, and I'll be sharing that with you. So watch out for a second video today. Later on today. So this is our biotech shares, and we have a whole lot of biotech shares in the positive. One of the things that possibly works in favor of biotech is because the entire market is getting beaten down. So there is a lot of safety in CRISPR stocks, which are super beaten down, and they are at the way bottom. There is nothing that could go further wrong from here. And for some shares like Intellia, which have got more cash in their balance sheet, and CRISPR, it's a given that this cash is safe, and you're still parking your money in a company which has got tangible assets and potential for future revenues. And again, this is an opportunity market going forward. So once everything recovers, these are also going to recover much faster than the others. So that's a good logic to doing that. However, I'm still afraid that these greens that we are seeing in the biotech side are going to drop back to reds by the end of the day, because the market constantly reevaluates and second guesses itself. And that's why the VIX is so volatile and high. That's because people are second guessing themselves, buying something and then selling it off and booking some profits there and moving on, because it's like everything is moving down and the smart participants are buying at the bottom and selling at the top, skimming off a slight margin, taking out cash and waiting for further fall, like we saw in case of Tesla and others. It went down, they bought it and they sold off, and now they are sitting with the cash. That's why we are going to overall keep on falling down. People are going to take cash out of the market and they want to take it out as profits. So the savvy participants and the smart participants are taking out that cash, and they're waiting in the sidelines to insert it back. And I was attempting the same with my holdings of ARCG, but unfortunately I missed the window and I'm now a negative almost 10 or 11 or 12% at this point of time with Teladoc. Of course, it's a small portion of my portfolio, but my overall portfolio has taken a big beating. So let's look at Teladoc. Teladoc is up 4.67%. I'm really happy for it. And hopefully I get an opportunity to take cash out of Teladoc and wait on the sidelines, because this volatility is going to continue further. But I'm afraid I may not get the chance. The good thing out here is that we have got a support of the 9-day EMA at this point of time, and potentially the 20-day EMA, because we are struggling around there. So let us see where it ends. The MACD is slightly bullish, and even though the momentum has picked up, it is below average, and also it is moving downwards. As you can see in this spot out here, you can see it is dipping down. So that's not a good sign. If the momentum dips down, you will see that the MACD will cross over the signal line and go and start going to be bearish. Let's look at Intellia. The birthday boy today made a lot of gains, but the MACD is bullish, but the momentum, as you can see, has suddenly fallen down. So I would be really happy if we can maintain at least to be in the positive today, but it has taken a big dip. And each of these candles are an hourly candle. So we have an hourly spurt as soon as we opened, and now we are coming down. And the 9-day EMA is trying to kind of support the price for Intellia, but it has got a tough challenge ahead of it because the momentum is dropping. So let's hope for the best. Editas is up 3%. The first hour it zoomed up and now it's starting to come down. The 9-day EMA is valiantly trying to give it some support. But if you look at the MACD, it's marginally positive and the momentum is flat. So I think Editas might probably end up slightly down today or potentially flat or negative. CRISPR is up 3.42% and the MACD is turning bullish. And our momentum is also picking up. So I'll see further gains for CRISPR today. And probably we may end the day at around $1.89 to $2. Beam is up 2%. And in the morning, it went up sharply, but it has started going down in this current hour. The first hour was a jump, and the second hour is coming down. And again, 9-day EMA is supporting this at this point of time, and I'm afraid that it may not be able to sustain for too long. The MACD is slightly bullish, but the momentum, as you can see, went up in the morning in the first hour and is starting to come down. So that's not a good thing. PACB is up 2.24. And the first hour was a jump. In the second hour, it is still going up, but the MACD is not yet bullish, and the momentum is still picking up. So I think PACB probably has the opportunity to pick up a little bit more. But if overall market sentiment starts weighing it down, I'd be delighted if it could end up just being flat or slightly positive for the day. ARCG is up 1.27%. And all the gains were made in the first hour. In the second hour, it is kind of struggling with the 9-day EMA, kind of pushing it down, the yellow line out here. And we have a MACD, which is slightly positive. It's bullish, but it's not very strong. The momentum has picked up a little bit in the first hour, but it's going sideways, and which is also not good. So I'm not very confident that ARCG will continue to maintain its positive status today. Verb is up 1.82%. Most of the gains were made in the first hour. And in the second hour also we are going up, and we have broken through the resistance of the 9-day EMA and the 20-day EMA, both of which are now performing the function of a support. We are currently at 27.45 and that's very encouraging. And our MACD is kind of turning towards the signal line, which is not encouraging. And our momentum has picked up. So overall, I'm hopeful that Verb will kind of remain flat or slightly positive by the end of the day. Let us look at Caribou Biosciences, which is our latest additions. And it has had a great deal of jump in the morning, the first hour. In the second hour also, it has gone up. and it's trying to face the resistance from the 9-day EMA, which stands at 9.39. Right now we are at 9.32, so we need another 7 cents, and then we'll be at the resistance of the 9-day EMA. And if we cross that, we have the 20-day EMA, which is going to give us resistance at 9.66, which is this orange line out here. MACD is flat. Momentum is also flat. So I'm a bit circumspect. Maybe we end up the day with either flat or slightly negative for Caribou. Bluebird is up 0.69%, and we had the earnings for Bluebird, which are supposed to come today. Let me quickly check if the earnings are in. The Bluebird earnings are not yet in, but hopefully that will be a catalyst for us today. And let us hope for the best, and we'll take it from there. Illumina, it's down minus 0.4%. That is around $1.26. The MACD is bearish, and the momentum is slightly picking up. The initial hour, we had a doji candle, which was an indecision, which is this red candle out here. But later on, it has picked up. But again, it's going to face a resistance from the 9-day and the 20-day EMA, which are at 316.16 and 317.97 respectively. So not looking great, but we'll hope this increasing momentum and overall sentiment might probably push it up a little bit. Regeneron is down 0.6%. Pfizer is down minus 2.1%, that is 99 cents. Novartis is down 1.9%, that is $1.66. Vertex is down 1.9%. So I've been always bullish on Vertex. So I'm very disturbed with this drop in value. And currently we have fallen below our support of 226.21. We are at 226.09. So unfortunately, I have to mark this as a resistance. And our MACD is bearish. It is dropped significantly. And the momentum has also dropped down and is moving sideways. So overall, it's not looking good for Vertex. And let me look at the news, if there is any negative news that is there for Vertex. So February 22nd, insider sell. So somebody inside VP has sold 4312 shares in Vertex. So generally insiders do sell because they want to cash in on their options, but it also sends a negative signal to the market. Maybe that's also a factor at play here. So let us look at the next one in our pipeline, that is IMTX. It's down 2%. And the MACD is flat. It's not bearish, it's not bullish, it's just flat. It's not looking good. Momentum is also low. RSI is absolutely oversold. There could be a dead cat bounce potentially, but I would expect IMTX to probably end up the day flat or maybe down 10 cents or something. Allogene is down minus 5.7%. This is the absolute rock bottom. We went to the very bottom of around 7.87 earlier today, and now in the second hour we are seeing a bit of life on these stocks. But we had an earlier channel, which is this green line, which was supporting our bearish downward channel. If you look at the overall view, now that is going to be our support. And as you can see, we have broken down below that. So that now becomes a resistance for us. So I'm going to mark that into a red color, which is a resistance. So we have a challenge of coming above it. And if we do come above it, then we have some scope of trying to challenge the subsequent resistances, or else we are in the rock bottom. Even the MACD is absolutely low. Momentum is non-existent. So Allogene is terrible today. So that brings me to the end of today's segment. My friends, so you might feel very disheartened by my review, that I'm not giving much credit for the positives and all. It's mainly because the overall sentiment is negative. And when the sentiments are totally negative, people flee from risky assets and go into quality assets. Quality assets are stuff that keep on giving you dividend, and they have a lot of cash in their balance sheet, and they have established product and they have established market where they can control pricing. So those are the kind of things that investors look for, and they gravitate towards those stocks. And you will see that even those stocks are falling. I showed you the example of Microsoft, which is a steady dividend payer, which has got solid cloud base, which keeps on renewing its subscription. We have Amazon, which is a cloud major, and which has also got its sites on the retail market, and it's a leader out there with Amazon Prime. It has got streaming service, which is also doing well. So, and they are paying dividends, and they have a lot of cash. still the shares are languishing. So in those contexts, any green that I see here in the CRISPR sector is very doubtful. So I would personally take profits wherever I can on CRISPR and wait with the cash on the sidelines. And my strategy is now to look at the big guys, invest there, ride it up first, and then take the money and catch CRISPR stocks on their way up. That's my strategy. Please let me know in your comments what you think. We should not be emotional when it comes to investments. You have to be rational. So give me your feedback. How is your portfolio looking? I'm going to share my actual portfolio with you today. It's totally red except for an island of green. And I'm not ashamed of it, because I would be lying to you if I tell that my portfolio is very healthy. My portfolio is not healthy. I did all the best practices I knew that I should, and still this is where I am. So please share your information. Don't put any personally identifiable information, but please put your feedback on what your portfolio is looking like, what your strategy is. Do you agree with what I'm talking about in terms of my strategy? And where do you think the market is going to go in the next week? Like, not for Friday, but starting Monday, where do you think the market will go? What's going to happen during this weekend? Will the market be able to digest its overemphasis on the Ukraine-Russia conflict? And will there be a relief rally on Monday? What's going to happen to gold? Would you even consider investing a little bit on gold, given the strong fundamentals that are out there? Are you invested in Bitcoins? And what is your portfolio looking like? My Bitcoin portfolio is looking dreadful, but I'm dollar cost averaging on some of them, especially Bitcoin and Algorand. These are the two cryptos that I'm invested in. So my friend, that's about it for today. This is the end of my session. Please do not forget to put a like. And if you are new to the channel, please consider subscribing. It's absolutely free. You may find a lot of exciting things happening in this channel going forward. Our subscriptions are steadily increasing. We are across 175 subscribers, and I'm really thankful for all our subscribers. Bye and have a nice day. Watch out for my next video later today, maybe an hour or two down the line. Thanks and have a great day. Bye for now.